And we see this is why I waited till after 1 o'clock instead of going back at 8 o'clock. We're still running with Prince Ali here, the Alibaba. And you see that the week has finished. That's what the thing is. The week is finished. It's up. So we will tap that button, tap to continue. And we complete the week with a score of 1.44 million. As we have the week before, we also win the gold standard. And now this week, we're going to up the challenge a little bit, and we're not going to be using the score boosters. We will run without the score boosters and try to achieve these type of goals that we see here, that you see here. So this is how we're going to first move up. We're not going to be using the hoverboard until Monday, after the Wordy Weekend. I made that decision while we were away, that I will not use the hoverboard. I will use the scores run here as the initials for there's the R there. Here's the E. We're playing also we're doing the daily emission as well. I always forget about that last chain there, and it often trips me up. Daily is done. I think Prince K is done as well, so we'll see what ends up happening at the end here. We're still running, which is good. He hasn't died. Again, not bringing up the hoverboard. Whatever I get, I get. So this is the daily prize. Whoop. There's a problem here. And this happens every once in a while, that we don't get the double prizes. This is a glitch in the system. So what has to happen is we have to go back. We have to start tapping this until we get it. There's the error there. Looks like we're going to have to reboot. Actually restart the program. So let's get out of the program. We're going to quit. Swipe it off. And go back in. If this happens, this is what you have to do. This is one of the glitches of Subway Surf. We're running into it again. So let's do this again. We tap that box. And there we go. We have the ad. We're back in business again. This game this is what's known as a silent crash. The game has crashed. It's no longer functioning. But you're not able to see this because it's not actually, there's no actual visible crash that you can see. It's just certain aspects aren't functioning properly. And so what we did is we went out, we restarted and came back in, and we tested it out using that in order to get the surprise box. And here you go. So we are back. We still have the K left to go with our prince, our terrorist ally. And we will talk about this more as we get into this section of WordWeekend. That the terrorists who blew up the Twin Towers and did all the terrorism that now has the TSA doing what it's doing to the people of America they were funded, armed, and trained by the United States and Israel. This is where you point the finger. And the sole purpose was to create a larger government. To create a need for the military service. And that's it. These are people who believe in good government, an omnipresent government, a government that is firmly in control and you're master in every single way. You become subservient and dependent on them, just like a nanny or a big brother. And you should know the Orwellian reference there. So we'll see how far we get with this run. Well, not bad. 542 coins. We'll see what it ends up being on the actual scoreboard. In terms of the total. Let's double this up now. And that should work. It does. The silent crash is done and over with. And we are 10 minutes into our play, so we're ending at basically 1:45 is when we're going to end, and then pick up later on in the day on Sunday. Of course, welcome to the Americans. Happy Thanksgiving, even though that's politically incorrect now. The Americans shouldn't be celebrating Thanksgiving anymore because it's offensive to the native Indians. I wonder how far the American people are going to be pushed. And I'm somewhat American. I'm not. I was born in Boston. My grandparents are immigrants. We're Pan-Asian. But I wonder how far the Americans are going to be pushed into giving up everything they believe in, or used to believe in, giving up their identity for political correctness and for big government. Alrighty, so here we are. Let's see what we ended up bringing up. We're now 173,000, 174,000. This brings us into bronze. There we are here in bronze, near the top of bronze. We're going to need above the 200,000 mark to get into the silver. This is what we're doing. We're working our way up without the hoverboard into the ranks of the weekly top score. And we're trying to get a consistency again of gold. Made a mistake. We're still running with Prince K. I didn't go back to the original board. Alright, we'll run with him. See how far we can get. So we're going to have these discussions on a regular basis. Every time we run these Wordy Weekends, we have these hour-long gaming sessions. There will also be a discussion involved. And we'll talk about various topics. So keep in mind that I am an independent. I don't have any particular favors or loyalties to any particular group. And often some of my choices are simply pragmatic. They're there for practical reasons. Given the 9/11, the government involvement in 9/11, seeing here in Canada how the so-called caring government of the social left has tripled the number of homeless in the streets of Toronto, and poverty has gone through the roof in Canada due to the environmental taxes and all other such things, that the point where if you're poor, you can't buy cheese. It's too expensive. And it tells you that government is a waste. And that the less government there is, because they're never going to help the poor people, that the less government there is, the better. And the only people who do this on a consistent basis are the Republicans and the Conservatives. And that's the only reason you vote them in, is because they'll give you less government. Because I know for myself in terms of what I eat and how I eat. An immigrant, this is now primarily Asian, I live in an Asian neighborhood. My store is Chinese. My supermarket is Chinese. And I can make all the Pan-Asian recipes I want from my grandmother and so on and so forth. And my food costs, when I learned to make the Pan-Asian food, went down. Not a bad run. Actually, a very good run. Drop the volume here. Keep forgetting to do that. The food that I have is very good. It's actually, I would say, if you know the Pan-Asian diet, the Pan-Asian cuisine, which includes China, India, Greece, Syria, Persia, all these countries are part of the Pan-Asian environment, and their food culture is enormous. So you eat very, very well. And there we go. We're now up. We're now at the top of the bronze range, just touching into silver. And this is done without the bouncer board or any of the power-ups, the head start and the score booster. I'm going to kill myself here. I keep forgetting we have to run with our next character. So let's go back here. And we go, this is our next character. This is Ramona. She's also a top scorer. Let's see what we can get with her. There's the first R. The more of these jetpacks there are, the better in terms of the actual total score. We are collecting our, I should have moved over to the other train, but didn't. But not bad for a 2 a.m. Run. Actually, 1 a.m. run is 1 o'clock right now, not 2. Missed it. Missed the key up there. Well, the information I'm talking about that they're discussing here, some of the things that talk about, well, they're not available in textbooks. These are certainly very interview are a half decent researcher. You can find this information. And it surprised me when I first started doing this, going out to the original sources, that I could actually find the original sources, the first-hand sources, and that they were fundamentally different from what I had read in the textbook. You think, oh yeah, the textbooks are the textbooks. This is where things are. This is the standard. Only to find out that the textbooks are not the standard. They're simply a perspective. And a very minor perspective on what actually occurred. And then when you go through the original text, you go through somebody's letters or memoirs or whatever, that the perspective was fundamentally different than what you're led to believe in the textbook. A large chunk of the details on how something evolved or came about is completely left out. You're simply given the mechanisms and mechanics and said, okay, this is the way things are, this is the way things should be, and this is the way you're going to learn things, and that's it. And you're tested on this narrow view of knowledge. It's not until you step outside the system. This is what I realized I had to do in my second year of university. As much as I enjoyed being in university, I wanted to sort of stick it out and ride that train. I realized that you cannot do objective science. You cannot do objective research in a subjective environment. That if the research you're doing, if if the work you're doing is truly objective and is real, not simply an illusion, then that will become self-evident. It will stand up on its own, and the work itself will be the merit, rather than simply a piece of paper saying that that's what this is, or pointing to some authority as to what the reality is. But this step is a difficult pill for many people to swallow. They enjoy the comfort that an institution will bring them, the guarantees of a job and tenure and the accolades and the awards and the this and the that. But I was always a massive nerd, a freak, and never really fit into society at any point in time, so these things, really didn't matter too much to me. Not bad. I think we're into gold right now, into silver. Yes, we are. We're definitely into silver with this run. And you see to the left, to right, to my name there, it says me. There's that gold pendant. That's our last week's run. So now we'll continue running with Ramona. We're now 1:15. We have about a half hour left in this section. See how many characters we can get in terms of this run. So I'm happy now we're up at silver. We're back up on the scoreboard again. We did this without the hoverboard and without the power boosters at the beginning. So we have succeeded in our goal, getting into at least a silver. If we get gold, that will be gravy. If we don't get the gold, this is good enough. This will suffice for our new standard in terms of how we're going to run WordWeekend and how we're going to do getting into the top run of the week. So good. See how far we can take this. Well, our trees are gone, so 270 coins, not bad. Could be better.
Hey there. Hi. Looks like someone scored some holiday deals.
Yeah.
But did you check eBay?
Yeah. Wait. No.
We're getting more regular commercials now. eBay. I use them. I also use Walmart too. That's a glitch there because the coins should have doubled up, but they didn't. One letter left to go. Not bad, 360 coins. We get our surprise box now. We get keys. Let's see if this double up actually works.
That looks like a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
But did you check eBay?
Another regular ad. They're starting to put more of these ads in now.
eBay and get price match guarantee on all the hottest
This is the
gadgets.
eBay ad.
eBay.
It's short. Let's see if it actually doubles up now. It says learn more. Here's the X to end it. And it doubles up. So it was that one glitch as they try to bring the new ad in. But that's why we didn't get the double up. So let's run with our second guy now. This is our Swedish or Norwegian boy, our Norse boy who takes care of sheep. Without the hoverboard or the bouncy shoes, you can't get that letter up there. So we're going to forgo those letters for now, or anything up there, unless we have the bouncy shoes. But because we're going for the longer runs, we try to get up in the gold even though we're in silver. Because of the risk of ending it short, decide not to do that. There, so we missed the one on top there, and then what happens, they replace the letters. If you miss one letter, they will replace it somewhere on later on down the track. So just because you were in this one doesn't mean that it's over. If you can keep yourself alive long enough, you simply pick it up later on down the track. And for this, we're not going to get too heavy, I don't think, tonight. We're going to do some of the, this guy's producing very well. He's 113 just for the 230, so not bad at all. We're not going to get too heavy tonight. It's 1:30 in the morning. And the mind is here sort of, but not necessarily, in terms of always being in depth. So we'll just do this brief, every once in a while we'll comment on this and that, and we'll pick up the heavier things, and in the later runs on Sunday, later in the day. So they're talking about, and this is what we're continuing off on, is looking at India, and this is what I have done. You can take the perspective of any society in terms of observation and so on and so forth, into personal behaviors and preferences. And how that overall will really be indicative of a society as a whole, a sort of psychology. And you can approach, and this is what I've done, approach this observation in a similar manner to as you would if you were doing astronomy. So I did take my work, my observational skills from astrophysics, and brought them into psychology to do people watching and to do a lot of the research I've been doing. Because as I was doing the research in physics, I began to realize that there are huge chunks missing from physics. There are huge chunks that are sort of not really fully explained in the textbooks. In order to go find out what that was, to see what is missing, you had, what was there before, and that's kind of your history. Your history tells you what was there before, so you know what's missing. You know, take what you know now, take what you knew before. If there's things that are missing, you'll see there's a difference. Then you'll see if the new stuff actually covers everything that the old stuff actually had covered. And if it doesn't, it means you're missing something. And this is how you go back and begin to sort of unravel the narrative, the common narrative, and produce something more significant. And this was sort of the case with quantum physics, is that you have a narrative leaving school, but it's not necessarily the narrative. Oh, that was right there. And we got a high score here. I thought it would have been better higher up, but it's not. But we're one letter off. And as you begin your research, this type of research takes years. Because basically you're going to lecture, you're finding as many lectures online as you can. You go to these lectures, and a lot of them are called colloquia. These are lectures given by professors and researchers to other professors and researchers. You don't go out to something like a PBS documentary or you know, oh, this is what science is. No, there's a lot more to it. You go out to these, what most people consider boring lectures, and you sit there conference after conference, which are all online, so you don't have to go anywhere. And you listen to lecture after lecture. And what you do is you simply take your notes. And as you take your notes, you begin to understand what's missing and what's not missing, particularly if you're doing observation in physics, and I still am doing observation in physics, and finding things that, you know, don't actually match up with the textbook. I'm trying to figure out, okay, well, where do we go wrong or where do we go off? You know, what does the textbook say? What does, you know, in the textbook always gives you, okay, there's Charles' law, Boyle's law. There are a lot of different laws out there done by these different scientists. Well, how did they come up with these laws? Where did they come up with their information? And this is where you go into the history of the science to find that out. It's not in the science itself. You can see what obstacles they ran into, what are the different things, what things may have influenced them in their life that may have influenced their science, where some of the mistakes could be, one of the things that they weren't seeing. You know, this is the thing, is that the question that even Neil deGrasse Tyson has asked, why are scientists who all believe in God, why are they so ignorant? You know, why couldn't they see these extra things that he feels is obvious? And the thing is that sometimes because you're seeing something in hindsight because you've gone over and over again, doesn't necessarily mean as you're beating the path through that initial bush, you're the one cutting the trail. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to see everything there. Someone coming along behind you on the trailer who isn't cutting the trail is going to see more than you see, simply because the person isn't trailblazing. The trail has already been blazed. He's simply walking a path that has been blazed before, that's sort of been prepared for him. And so there is the luxury of seeing more. So it's not necessarily in ignorance that you're not seeing something or refusing to see something. You know, the ignorance is the refusal to see something. It's the denial. And in many cases, it's not denial that's the case, that's sort of what you miss something as a scientist doing the initial trail. It's the fact that you are doing this trail, and this is something you miss. People who read know this. You know, you read a book once and it's a good book, and oh yeah, this is a great book. I'm going to read it again. Why? Because you know there's things that you missed the first time you read. So your first read is not necessarily, even though it's influential, it's not necessarily your best read. Let's see what we got here now. See, this is bad, right? We got a high. We should have had a higher score with the, and this is why some of the characters are good, some of them aren't. We got a higher score. We should have had a higher total score, but we didn't. We exceeded what we should have got for silver, but we didn't do that. So. So running with Bjork like this, you know, doing the long runs, is kind of useless because even at the higher coinage, which we should have had a higher score, we're not actually getting anything. This is actually one of the reasons why I take the pictures, is I can go back into the pictures and use them to see which characters produce the best top scores. And then you run with them. I run with them on Monday to push, if you haven't done so, push myself back into the gold standard. And to get back into gold standard safely, we need a minimum of 650,000. Yeah, so you spend hours going through these lectures and picking up old lectures. Old lectures are great too. Old research reels. They have these old research reels. They're black and white. These are research tests that have been done, long forgotten. They're now in the public domain, and somebody's plopped them out onto the internet, particularly on YouTube, and you can pick them up. And use them in your research. And one would say, oh yeah, that information's old, why do you even need that? Is because there could be perspectives in there, in the original research, seeing how the original research was done, that has been missed, and may be essential to your work. It may not be a lot of stuff, but there could be a significant amount that is worthwhile. And then as you begin developing your understanding, you go back and watch these reels again, you watch these research again, and you do end up picking up things that you missed the first time around. So it's bad science, it's bad research to dismiss things that you think are insignificant or old or whatever. You do have to do the painstaking research and go through the materials, even if you think something is not fundamentally worthwhile, or your notes, and this will happen, sometimes my notes sit there for years without being used. You know, sit there and, okay, I'll have these notes here and there, and you mark them, you sort of index them to a certain degree so you can go back and find them, but it doesn't always work like that. Because you'll watch something, realize a connection years later, and then you're scrambling to go back and find where you put the notes that you have been working on. I've gone through that many times. Let's see where we get here now.
That looks like a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
eBay again.
But did you check eBay?
Check eBay and get price match guarantee on all the hottest gifts this holiday season. eBay.
Let's put the volume back up. Here's our main box from our run. We got these score boosters. Gonna double it up just to have them on the reserve. As a
Make
reserve.
spirits bright with Baskin-Robbins gift cards. The gift of ice cream is sure to sweeten any occasion. Available in participating locations.
Baskin Robbins is pretty good.
More flavors.
I like them. I had the ice cream cakes. I think I like Dairy Queen better, but there aren't too many Dairy Queens around in Canada, so. Let's see. This is Bjork. We're going to take his picture. We are in silver. Go back, bring up Lucy. Lucy's one of our good scorers. Let's see what we get with her. Okay. We are at 34. We have 10 minutes left to 45. Let's see if we can get, squeeze in Lucy and then one more run maybe. We'll see what happens when we finish with Lucy. Yeah, so research does take a bit of time. You're actually researching. That's where I'm at now. I'm at my research desk. And these lectures are indeed boring. This is how I started gaming. Watching cartoons and having other things to sort of help me sit put and go through these lectures here. In many cases are extremely boring. You take your notes, you put your notes aside. Every once in a while you go back to your notes, you reorganize them, fix them up because initially they're ad hoc, they're just all over the place, or whatever comes to your mind at the time. And it's not until later on you go back and redo the notes that you sit down and have any degree of organization to them. Here's the first letter of the first L. And the thing is I lucid dream. I'm aware of what I dream. And I'm aware that I am dreaming, more often than not. So, in many cases, my research actually follows me into my sleep. So, in the middle of the night, you're working things out, you're thinking about things that you've sort of gone through the day. Sometimes things didn't make sense. You go, well, this is odd, but put it aside and, deal with that later. Not until you have a dream that makes the connection. And this is ironically how some of the chemistry was done with these dreams and realizing that snakes eating each other represented the chemical structure. And I think it was Linus Pauling that did that. So you wake up in the middle of the night after your dream, and you go to the bathroom, get yourself something to drink, maybe a little peckish or something, midnight snack, and you do this at your research desk, and you take your notes about what you were thinking about as you were dreaming. So what happens being a researcher, particularly an independent researcher, isn't a 9-to-5 job. It's sort of omnipresent. It's a 24/7 type of thing. It's always there with you. You never really kind of leave it behind, and this is what makes you a lab rat or a library rat, because you're always studying, you're always doing the research. But of course, there's other people out there that are other types in the university, the academic types that enjoy the prestige, the accolades of being a professor. And of course they look the part. They have the tweed jackets, they have the turtleneck, they drive these fancy cars and blah 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 blah, and the prestige is more important and the appearance is more important than the actual research. But of course they will beg to differ and be highly insulted if you suggest otherwise. Otherwise. But I saw that with the professor early on, and it wasn't to my liking. I preferred the professor who was more the lab rat, library rat type. And that was sort of my path. That's kind of where I am now, almost 28 years later. Double up on the hoverboard. We are now at the
Make spirits bright with Baskin-Robbins gift
140 mark.
ice cream is sure to sweeten any occasion. Available
I
in
think our run
participating
with Lucy
locations.
is going to be it.
Baskin-Robbins. More flavors, more fun.
Because we still have one more letter left to go before we're done with Lucy. And that will not give us enough time. So we do it well on the lower level with Lucy here. Definitely into bronze. But so we need our path into gold. The question is, how does she do higher up? And so that's how we end up where we are today, doing, at my research desk, doing live stream gaming on Twitch, which will go to our the Kawaii TV, Kawaii Tea House TV channel on YouTube. This is part of the Cyborg Alpha TV network, and this is one of the reasons why our discussions are the way they are. They're rather nerdy. And that's it. The Kawaii Tea House TV is a nerd channel. It's a place for nerds of all ages. And it sort of just really depends on where you are in your nerd life as to whether or not this is something for you or not. I'm not particularly into the sports or the other commentator witty banter that is more often not just simply, oh look, he's scratching himself down there. A discussion about nothing. Kind of like Seinfeld. The Seinfeld with the comedy was funny. We haven't picked up that last Y, and this run is actually running long. So this is going to use up our time, and more than likely Lucy is going to be our last character before we break for the day. 607. Double that up. A sports ad. I don't know what that's for. Looks like a video game. Yeah, it's some sort of sports video game, probably NBA. Ooh, NBA Live Mobile. It should be interesting. Oh, we did pick up the Y. But it is 143. We will double up. And we will be heading out the door. And won't be back until probably sometime in the afternoon, where we will run the Wordy Weekend until midnight. Final Fantasy. That didn't double up for some reason. But anyways, it doesn't matter. So we're not going to be using them anymore anyway, so. Okay, so 607. When we got up to the higher numbers, the the score up there didn't improve significantly, so let's take that picture. And I'm pretty sure we're going to have to wait until Monday to actually do a good run for the gold. Anyways, that's it for this section of WordWeekend. We'll be back sometime in the afternoon on Sunday. You know, what happened to my broadcast there? In this here. There we go.